Hi guys, it's DeAnn, Dillard, Real Estate Success Podcast. And today I have with me Rebecca and Josue Soto. Rebecca and Josue are a husband and wife team that's grown in the real estate industry, working together for the past 15 years, serving the Central Florida area, leading their local agents. They have now expanded their organization into multiple states, 5 countries. They went from 4 agents when they came into the organization, and now they have over 245 agents and counting. And they are authors of the book Married in Real Estate. Wow, you guys, that's quite the resume.
Thank you, and thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much for being here, you guys.
Thank you.
So there's so much that we could talk about. I've been following you guys for a while, and everybody speaks so highly of you, and there's so much that we could chat about for hours. But I'd like to you just share where you started in your real estate journey and how you guys got into real estate together.
Oh, awesome. I'll get started. So Josh and I have been married for about 21 years, and we met each other at a previous job that I had. I worked as a dental assistant, and he came in as a patient one day. And we were in 2 different industries. Josh, he was a truck driver. And fast forward, we connected, met. We talk all about it in the book. But we
connected at the dentist office?
Yeah. He was amazing. Well, I guess
Gosh, you're smooth.
It's interesting though, because he came in, I'm new on the job at the time, and my office manager comes up to me and says, Rebecca, you've got to bring in this next patient. And she starts to tell me all about him and how wonderful he is. And I'm thinking, wait, I'm new on the job. I'm not trying to date patients. What are you doing? And she's telling me all this personal stuff about him. And she's like, I want you to bring him in. I'm like, well, he's not on my schedule. And the doctors really don't like you to kind of swap patients that way if it's not on your schedule. And she's like, I'm your manager. You need to bring him in. And I was like, okay, if you say so.
You're the boss.
No, you're the boss, right? So I brought him in and took care of him. And of course, it's patient relationship. There's nothing happening during that
Sure.
visit. And at the end of the visit, he stops to kind of chat with the doctor, and they're talking about football. And I'm trying to get in the conversation, but I'm not really a football fan. I don't know if I should say that out loud, but so I'm having trouble being any part of the conversation. So I start to walk away. And as he starts to notice I'm leaving, he calls out for me, and I thought, oh, okay.
Wow.
He didn't let me walk away. So, of course, I'm working, right? I'm on the clock. So as soon as I walk him up to the reception desk to check out, my manager comes back in and she says, all right, well, Rebecca hangs out at all the local nightclubs. Why don't you guys just go ahead and exchange numbers now, and you can talk later. She's back to work. And I almost died. I was like, what did you just do?
Oh, wow.
And it was so awkward, but at the same time, it was welcomed. I don't know that I would have exchanged my number any other way.
Right? And, who's the matchmaker?
Yeah, she was. She was not going to let that moment slip away.
She knew it was meant to be.
It's interesting because I feel like I don't know how she knew that. And sometimes I think you just got to go with it.
Right.
You just got to go with it. But fast forward, we're in 2 different industries. We eventually get married, and we're looking to do something more. And so I have a friend that's in real estate, a broker. And I'm visiting her one day, and I had another side job that I was doing, and she looked at me. She goes, Rebecca, if you worked real estate like you do this business, you would be really good at it. And all the same things that you're doing here, you'd be doing them and making more and being able to help families and realize their dreams of homeownership. And I thought about it. I went home and I was like, why didn't I think of this? And I think it would be perfect. I felt like my husband and I would make a really great team working together. And this would be something that would be fulfilling to me to be able to help other people in that fashion. And so we immediately decided, you know what, let's just take the next class and get started. And it's been amazing ever since. We've been 16 years now in the industry. Wow. It's just been wonderful. Honestly, I really enjoy working with him. I don't know, Josh, you jump in.
Was that well received, Josh, when she came home with this idea, like, let's change everything and get into real estate?
It was like, she caught me off guard, but at the same token, it was something that I think that it was time for both of us to just kind of like, we were already kind of thinking about a career change. I had a 4-year degree, and I played professional baseball too. So
wow.
Rebecca, one thing that I can say that she's seen more in me sometimes than I've seen in myself, so she always wanted me to do better. And at that moment, we sat down, and I remember to this day, we were having dinner, and I said, you know what, let's just do it. It was at that moment I said, let's just do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? And it was crazy because I felt like everything, when it's all aligned, with God's purpose, it always works out, and it happened to fall in that the last class of the year was the time that I always take my 2-week vacation, and she's off of work at that time for 2 weeks. So it happened to be that last week we took the class together. We both passed the class, and 2 weeks later we took our state test, and January of 2006 we've been licensed since. So she's right. Sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling, man, and when everything aligns, you just got to run with it.
And it sounds like a lot of divine intervention. Like, first your boss at the dentist office,
yeah.
Your friend says, hey, get in real estate. And then you happen to have the time at the end of the year together at the same time.
I really believe that, because it goes back even a little further than that, because I was already working in a real estate office prior to that job. And I took the real estate exam, and I had failed it. And at the time, because I was a single mom, I remember thinking, I don't have time to do this again. I really need a job that's going to be more consistent paying. And I was really looking for a paycheck. I needed that consistency in my life. And I saw at the time in that office where the broker was highly successful, but the agents were kind of struggling. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I was 22 at the time, a little unfocused. And the broker made some changes and eliminated my position, and I had 2 weeks to find another job. And so I went looking for something really quick, and I found the dental office down in the same center that we were at, and they hired me right away. So when he tells me, when he comes back to me and asks me, well, so what did you find? And I come back and I tell him I'm working down the way with the dentist. He tells me, you're so stupid. And I thought, wait, what? Did you just call me stupid?
Wow.
And I get what he meant, because he wasn't a man of many words, but I guess he was thinking that I would probably take up real estate, although he never really tried to inspire, mentor, or lead me in that direction. At the same time, I say, you know what? Had I not done that, I don't think I would have met Joshua. So I feel like that little detour working at the dental office helped to bring our paths together. After having met, we discovered later that we had lived in the same apartment complex for a whole year and never met.
Wow.
And I also knew his prior girlfriend that he was with. I knew her well. So I was like, all this time, and I had never met him. So I honestly think that there was some divine intervention there.
Absolutely. And timing and everything, even with your real estate career, right? Yes. Like, that probably you wouldn't have done what you guys have done now together as a couple.
Yeah, it would have been a different path for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Her father said it best. I mean, he's like, son, I know it was disappointing for you, to end your baseball career, but I'm so glad it did, because you would have never met my daughter. I'm like, he's right. Well, he's right.
That gave me chills right now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Being married is such a journey in itself, right? And then right? You have, and then your real estate career is a big journey, right? Even if you're just doing it on your own. And then you guys have combined having a family, being married, and then actually working together. So share a little bit about how that has worked, the two of you working together and spending all this time together.
Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead, Josh.
wow. First of all, I love spending time with my wife no matter what. When we're together, we travel together. This is the first time I think we've been not traveling on business together, and it's kind of
She was
weird. It feels
sharing that a little
weird.
bit before we got on here, that you
Yeah,
planned on being together, right?
yeah, we tried. Honestly, to me, it's like we one of the things that we try to do is we try to separate our relationship with the business. So even when we're traveling on business, we always try to take like 1 or 2 days for us, just to kind of relax and just kind of really catch up on some conversations maybe that we had to put aside for a little while, just really kind of clear our minds before we had to
And
go into a
enjoy where we
conference.
are. Yeah.
And just enjoy each other's company. That's the most thing. You make sure what's important. That's your partner. That's your wife. And we've always done that, honestly. And I think that that's the best part of it. That when you love what you do and you love who you do it with, it just feels like it doesn't feel like work, or it just feels great. And I think that it's important. We get asked that question all the time, and to us, it's like, man, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we would be where we're at if I didn't have her as my partner, my wife. And I'm pretty sure she feels the same. We're very different when it comes to business, in the sense that Rebecca's more of the just highly involved in what all the details of the business. I'm more of like, what, I'm just gonna go out and do it. She could We offset one another. We have great qualities. Yeah. I have horrible qualities and great qualities and vice versa, but
Nice.
we blend in together, and it always works out.
I love that. I love that. So, you guys have written a book, Married in Real Estate, and that's another big thing that we've all been through, right? We went through the pandemic, and then we're all over here being forced to spend time together. And I'm hearing all these things on social media and stuff, people complaining about that. But then you guys decided to write a book during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come about?
So it's an interesting story because, sometimes people see an opportunity for you that you didn't have planned for yourself. And right before the
Like
pandemic,
your boss at the dentist office, right?
yes, yes. And it's funny. I think it's being sensitive to knowing, having discernment to know when it's okay to follow that, right? But I had scheduled a conference that happened right before the shutdowns of the pandemic, and I had a friend that I had come to know through our company, and he was really good at lead conversion. So I created a seminar and asked him to come and be our keynote. And he came and spent the day with us, did a great conference, and he had been traveling alone, and so we kind of took him around. There was a lot of different little conferences happening here and there, and so we took advantage and just spent the day together and took him around to a few different places. And as we were just kind of spending time together and just kind of sharing our story, getting to know him a little bit better, he's getting to know us, and he's like, man, you guys, you're incredible. You've been through so much, and you guys should consider writing a book. And we sat there for a minute and we were like, wait, what? Write a book? Us? And I was like, I don't know the first thing about writing a book. And so I share that because I think if you have that opportunity, everybody has a story. Right. And if you have that opportunity, actually, we should all just take the opportunity, just journal. Journal, what is your story? Write it out, because I think your story can impact other people. And so the more I thought about it, I said, he's right. I think we should write a book. And, we were celebrating our 20th anniversary, and we thought, what a beautiful way to commemorate it. We were supposed to go and take a nice, beautiful vacation in Hawaii or somewhere nice and tropical. And we ended up down.
There were other plans for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind plans.
And so we just took that time to just kind of get down to it and start writing what that story is, right? Just kind of sharing what we've been through, and so we hope we kind of kept it so it's my version, his version, and what we hope you come away with is seeing real life and two people coming together and how they made it work, going through some challenges. We experienced the market crash together, and there was a lot of financial issues during that time, and how we bounced back from it. And so we felt like there would be a lot that people can learn from just kind of reading our story.
Yeah, I agree with Rebecca. You know what she's saying, Dan, is that I think that people are just afraid to really, speak about their story, man. But they don't
Yeah.
understand that's their journey. People want to hear what. I think a lot of times you go to these events and these conventions and you hear all the good side of everything, but you don't hear what it took for them anyone to get to where they're going. And I think when you're able to be very transparent, Rebecca tell you, I'm more intrigued of hearing the truth. Tell me how it all started. I need to know everything. Okay, you're a multimillionaire, but I know there's a lot of story in between the middles and the beginning, what it took for you to get there. And I think that there's a lifelong lesson in all this, honestly, even, writing the book and everything is that with failure, everything brings growth. If you don't fail, then you're still comfortable where you're at. You got to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Uncomfortable mean when you're uncomfortable, it builds. This is what we've learned, through our journey is that even through our hardest times, man, we just still consistent. I mean, it was a hard struggle, and but we still consistent, man. We truly believe in us. We believe that this is where we belong, and just continue moving forward, man. And that's why when we wrote this book, it was for us. It's such a huge journey, even writing it, because we got to really see and understand that wow, we went through a lot. And at that moment, as you're writing, that your mind is just running like, wow, I remember this, and I remember when we were doing this with the kids. So a lot of memories came back. So I
That's
would
kind
say
of therapeutic, right?
I
A
agree
little
with her.
therapeutic.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It really is. We all have a story to tell, man. Even if in
right.
your journey, every day you wake up, man, it's a new story that you're creating that same day. So
I love that. And I love what you said, Josh, about when we go to these conferences and you're seeing all the glitz and the glamour and all the success stories. But it's so much more relatable when you can hear they started out somewhere that I started out, right? Or they
absolutely.
struggled financially like I struggled financially, and or all kinds of things. Rebecca, I think you shared somewhere before that you had been married before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's something that, you guys have this beautiful story, but when you hear where you come from, something like that, then other people go, oh, I relate to that. And I think that that's really beautiful that you guys have shared so much in that book.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you're bringing that up, and I tell you her that's what intrigued me to her the most, man. I'll be honest with you. When she was a single mom, how much I mean, at a very young age, she was a mom, and for her, how she was able to really juggle a full time job with two very young kids, and just being there because her full commitment was to those kids.
Mm.
So I was like, if she's like that, then she's gonna be a great wife and a great husband, a great mother. So I was like, yeah, I like her a lot.
That's awesome. So do you guys always see eye to eye in business, or do you have certain do you have lanes? I've heard of people say, okay, this is your lane, Josh, and this is your lane, Rebecca, or how does it work for you guys?
We don't honestly. We don't believe in staying in your lane. We believe that what everything has to be talked about.
I love that.
And
I
I
think
think that
if like look, I get the concept of stay in your lane.
Yeah.
However, I do think that there has to be clear defined roles, and
Mm.
we have to trust each other to work in those capacities.
Mm.
However, if we're using stay in your lane as not allowing each other to hold each other accountable, then there's a problem because we're not really working as a team, right? So I think I think I don't like the term as much, only because I feel like that people could be using it as a cop out to say, don't mess with me. You know,
This is your lane. This is my lane. Okay.
Exactly. This is my lane. You stay in yours. We have to be okay holding each other accountable. We still have to have business meetings where we talk about how business is going and, you know, what's working, what's not, and be okay with those conversations.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, we were interviewing wow, about 4 or 5 months ago at a relaunch live, and I love that one of our partners said, he says, you know, when it comes to that question, man, you know, the way I see it is like this: my wife is the CMO, I'm the CFO, and God is my CEO.
I love that.
And I was like, wow, man, you know, when he said that, man, I think, honestly, I think 200 people just fell off the chair. They was like blown away when he said that. Because it really made a lot of sense. You know what? Titles don't mean anything. It really does, in the sense that when you have a company, but at the end of the day, you got to work together no matter where you at, you know? So you got to come together and understand that, you know what, we're here for one purpose, and that's to grow this business and work together, you
Right.
know? So I mean, these are the things that you go as you go, as time goes on, you're able to, you know, get better at it. You know, I mean, we're still learning. There's times that, you know, we have a little difference. We have to sit down and kind of talk about it. That's normal, you know. But that,
Right.
if you don't have that, then there's a problem. Then something's perfect here, you know.
Mm.
But you know, when you run a company, and you're married, and you have you know, you live under the same roof, there's always a lot of conversations that have to be said. That's it. They have to be
Well,
spoken.
and you have two totally different people who have different ideas. And I think when we can come together and find compromise, that's where the real magic happens, because it can't be all about what I want to do and
Right.
not consider what he wants to do, and vice versa. And sometimes I think when you can come together, and this happens in any team or partnership, when we come together and we bring our ideas together, we can oftentimes come up with better ideas, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think if you have an open heart, an open mind to those things, and you can find compromise, this is only going to help you go stronger. It's going to help you go farther, because you have two great minds instead of just one.
And really understanding each of you guys, how you guys operate one another. See, I'm a trailblazer. Rebecca's a debater, so Rebecca's more like all in. She needs to understand things and make sure that everything is running in order. She needs structure. Me, I'm like Veronica Figueroa. We run. You know, we say it, implement it, let's go get it done. You know,
Right.
but at the same token, I know that's why we're so great together, because
Right.
we're the complete opposite. But it doesn't mean that I'm more than she is in anything that she does. You know, we're always at the same level. We're always equal to one another. I don't see myself at the face. No, we're both the face. You know, even times that, you know, it's just, I think that honestly, it just comes to understanding and respecting one another, because the respect has to be there no matter what. You know,
Yes.
I don't care if you're in business and relationship. You know, you got to hear each other out. You know, so those tough conversations are the good ones, honestly, because you get it out.
I love that. I love that you said that she's like this and you're like this, because then you guys can come together and be like this, right? But if you're
Mhm.
both doing the same thing, maybe you're going to do this, right? But
Yeah,
you're complementing each other perfectly.
yeah, and it has to be done. Honestly, Dan, it's. I think that, you know, that when you look at it as far as business and relationships, a lot of them tend to fail because those hard conversations, those
Right.
conversations. I think Rebecca says it best. She goes, "That was a conversation that should have been taken care of years ago." That's what she says. You know, you
Yeah.
know.
So on that, when you have your guys are doing goal planning, I'm a big goal planner. So how is it that you come together and decide what goals that you're going to work on together for that time period, for that year or whatever, that 5-year goal?
I guess it just depends on the order of priority. I guess, and the other thing is, by now, I think we think alike, so it doesn't seem like it's that hard. I think we both know what each other wants, and I really haven't found too much conflict in our goals, because we are like-minded, even though we're different. Yeah, so I don't know.
You know, I heard Tony Robbins talk one time about how what makes a successful couple and how they stay together. And he said the number one thing was a shared common goal. was what you think the end game looks like, right? We're both working towards this. If we have all these other problems, but we want this one thing together in our life, that's what held people together.
Yeah, and I love Tony Robbins when he, because I think that when he speaks on relationships and just marriages, he's very transparent, and I love that when he dives deep into that stuff because it really makes you think and understand. And I can tell you this right now: whoever hasn't gone to them, they need to go because at that moment when he's talking, you feel uncomfortable, like he knows you feel like he's talking to you, like you need to get this out.
Yeah, you start squirming in your seat, and you're like, "Oh, crap, someone's talking to me right now."
But what you said is so true, and I think these are conversations that if you could have them prior to entering in a serious relationship or into getting married, if it's too late, you're already married, we'd have to have these conversations, because if we don't have that common goal, then we need to talk about what that's going to look like. And so, yeah.
It's very important to really to get to know each other, man. I always say it's like every day, it's like you got to wake up and just listen. You got to wake up with a sense of gratitude every single day, no matter what you're going through.
Absolutely.
Every single day, man. You got to wake up because, sometimes we find ourselves like really focusing on things that we should not be focusing on.
That's 100%, Josh. I'm reading The Gap and the Gain right now, and I think it's that book. Anyways, and he's talking about he had a friend who was always complaining about their partner, and he told him, I want you to go home and every day you wake up, think about 5 things that you're grateful for. And it ended up over the course of a year changing this guy's marriage.
Darren Hardy spoke about that.
Darren Hardy, thank you.
Darren Hardy. That's the compound effect.
That's the compound effect. Exactly. I got the 2 books, but yeah, wasn't that incredible? Because it's what you focus on, right? And they're focusing on the negative of your partner all the time instead of waking up and saying, you know what, I'm so grateful for this and I'm so grateful for that. And if you just do that and just change your mindset, I think it's a big relationship changer.
Yeah, that was actually his best friend. That was his best friend. Yes. What? Yeah, really? If you read along, that was actually his best friend. That when he would come over, or he would just, and like to him, it was like he felt like he was being drained. Hearing all
okay,
wow. He just had to tell him. Yeah,
that was incredible. I love that.
And I think focus on expands. So if you're focused on the negative, like what you were just saying a moment ago, if you focus on the negative, all you'll ever see is the negative about that person. So when we wake up with a heart of gratitude and we force ourselves to think about, because there are good things that happen, we're just choosing to skip over that. And you share, but they did this, or they said that, or, and they forgot this, and choosing to only see the negative side, you're bringing yourself down, and you'll never have a happy relationship, because happiness comes from within. It's a choice we make, right? So if we focus on that negative, that's all you're going to see is that negative. So
and I think
on the positive, you'll have a happier life.
Yeah, and I tell you, I agree. It's just like, I think sometimes, and Rebecca, no, I mean, I say it straight up. I can't, no matter what you do, you're always going to get people that are not going to be aligned with you. You understand? And that's fine. That's okay. You know what? Because we've learned that, hey, this is not for everyone. This is who we are, and it's okay. We're fine with it. So I think a lot of times we focus too much on what everyone is saying, and just keep moving forward, man. Don't even worry about what anyone else is saying. Seriously.
Yeah, I love that. Where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit and go back. When you guys, before you came over to the company, you had your own independent brokerage, right? And you moved over and you had 4 agents. Is that correct? That came with you? Yeah. And then you, but now you guys have grown to 245 plus agents, I believe, in several states and 5 countries. So what made you make the move, and how did you go from 4 agents to an organization like that?
Josh, do you want to start?
No, go ahead. I'll let you open this one.
All right. So we had, we had our own brokerage, like you mentioned, for 9 years. And during that time, we thought we were running a perfectly good business, but what we were really great agents. And we ran a team. We were happy working together, went through the market crash, and that, of course, presented some challenges. And but we kept at it, consistent, and kept working. But the truth is, at one point, I stepped back and I said, something has to give. This is not. I mean, it's okay for now, but the minute we stop working, the money stops coming in. This is not a business. It's not working while we sleep. And so I saw the hard work, and as we're thinking about, okay, what's the end goal here? Where are we going, and how's this going to keep growing? I didn't see how that was going to continue growing. And so I remember stepping back, telling Josh, I think we need to consider looking at other models and other possibilities, because the way we're working right now, it's not going to generate the wealth that we want. How are we going to retire? I don't want to retire old. I don't want to be dependent on Social Security, right? That they say is not going to be there. So what are we going to do different? And so we just carefully went out and started looking at other models, which I highly respect. All these other models have worked for years and are great, but they weren't the model for us. And we kept thinking, we've already made a name for ourselves. We have a client database. I don't feel that I need to pay for somebody else's brand to elevate me. And if I'm going to pay that, I might as well just dump that into marketing and just kind of focus harder on that. And so it just never made sense. And the first time we heard about EXP, we thought, wait, that's different. And I think we need to pay attention, a little closer attention to that. And it was new, so we hadn't heard about the company, so we were just a little leery, only because we didn't know enough about it. And the more I heard about it, it was kind of like, I think this is really the direction we want to go, but we didn't make any moves right away. Fast forward, we're connected with another organization. We do events, things like that. And we met someone at one of our events who, again, says, hey, listen, let's go out to lunch. I'd love to tell you about, a movement that we're bringing to town. And so they projected a vision that they had to bring certain brokers together. And we were going to work together as a powerhouse group, helping each other, supporting each other's agents. Didn't matter, who they were connected with, so long it was within our group. And Josh came home one day and said, this is it. We're going to make the move. We're just changing. And I thought, wait, what? Because it had been a while. I mean, we were contemplating this over a span of probably about 2 years. And I'm like, wait, we're moving. Where are we going? And so he explained to me, because this conversation happened with him. He explained to me everything, and I thought, oh my God, this is exciting. I mean, we bought into the vision. And when I think of it now, and we think about the group that we're connected with, our organization, they have in 2.5 years' time grown to 2,000 agents all together with the whole group. And we think about that. We embarked on his vision. We knew that we wanted to be a part of that. We knew that we would grow with that. And we moved full throttle. It hadn't happened. It didn't have a name yet. We just knew that they were sincere-hearted. We believed in what they were doing. We knew that it would be powerful, and that we would make the impact that they were projecting to make in our community. And it's been exactly that. So we came in, it was just Josh and I and 2 other agents, and 4 agents all together. And today we actually have 252 agents. It keeps growing. And I just gave you those numbers 2 days ago. And it just keeps growing. And I think it's a reflection of the community, the culture, support. And so I knew that I wanted to be part of it. Having been in an independent brokerage, we were alone. And, there was a lot that we were doing right. But sometimes I just wanted somebody to bounce ideas with, collaborate with, just do things together. And I was tired of it just being us. And this has given us that community, and it's been amazing. So I've got all great things to say about it, Josh. I probably took all the best parts, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, I didn't say everything, but yeah, honestly, yeah, when it came down to a decision, it was like a no-brainer for us.
Mm,
Me at the moment, I said, "Well, wait a minute," because the partners that we align ourselves with, they're like people that we knew in our own backyard that are successful brokers like us at the moment, and their vision was big. And
mhm,
it is, I felt the passion when they were really talking, like, we can do this, but we
mhm,
have to do it together. And
mm.
man, it's just like all the way on the ride home, I'm like, how am I gonna tell my wife this? But we gotta do it. My mind was already set.
Mm.
I never told them yes. I just drove home. On the way home, well, by the time I parked inside of our garage. I said, "That's it. This is it." I felt good about it. I felt great about the decision, and that's it. Like I told her, I said, "Rebecca, pack it up. That's it, man. We're moving." And I called them back up. I said, "Tell me a little bit more about it," and it was exactly what I envisioned. And here we are 30 months later, almost 300 agents and counting. And
Wow.
we have a couple other countries that we already are affiliated with that's about to open now. And we got a couple agents coming on. So, it's like I think to me, what really resonated in me right now, Dan, is that the culture and the collaboration that was created within this, like Rebecca said, it's amazing, man,
Yeah.
because there's so much respect. There's so much sincerity, so much respect in the sense that we hear each other out. We throw our ideas out there, right or wrong, but we throw them in a pot. We come up with something bigger than what it is, and it works, man. And here we are, 2,000 plus agents, one of the fastest growing organizations in EXP right now, and honestly, like Rebecca said, man, we truly believe in the vision and the culture and the collaboration. And till this day, honestly, by the grace of God, we made this move because I don't regret any of it.
I love that you just said, by the grace of God, you've made this move, right? And so
Yeah,
we feel so fortunate and
absolutely.
so fortunate. It's like, thank you to the person who brought you the opportunity. You know,
Absolutely. And thought about
absolutely.
us. Yeah, and I really thought about us, and just for them to really be very sincere and very transparent. Like they weren't even sugarcoating anything. They said, "We need you, and we need your wife," like straight
Wow.
up. Like they wasn't even like they never like sway us in it. They just were very transparent. This vision has to work, but we need you to be part of this.
Hmm. I love it.
I
I
was like,
love it. And it's interesting to me always the perception out there about EXP. And I got into this organization because of the collaboration also, right? And when you chat with people, sometimes they're like, "Oh, it's a MLM scheme or a recruiting company or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, it's so much more than that. It's the culture, and it's the you guys have built something together because the two of you have done it together, which has expanded all your opportunities. But now you're expanding with all kinds of like-minded people, right? And done incredible things in 30 months. Like, who would have thought? It would have taken you a long time to have that many agents, a lot more
Yeah.
than 30 months on your own, right?
yeah,
Well,
and I
in
said,
9 years, we had people come and go, and there was some issues and reasons why we chose not to grow the company, and it was quite deliberate. I think the just liability issues and things like that, and just EXP was a really great fit for us and
Hmm.
took away all of that worry away on the liability,
Mhm.
and just made things easy. Having the systems, the tools, the technology, the education, the ongoing education. So, I mean, I can't begin to tell you how important that is to have live training that the community takes care of, but it's not dependent on you. And so it's just an easy way to be able to offer so much to the agents. And that to me was another part that was important, because it wasn't enough for me to have a great opportunity for myself, and of course Josh, but our agents as well, and they have that same opportunity. Everybody has the same opportunity of growth. So depending what your goals are, there's something for everyone here, but so many ways to add additional passive income streams through your business. I mean, like, it just, to me, it's definitely a no-brainer. We weren't generating passive income where we were before. We couldn't offer it to our agents.
Close, right? You're like, how are we going to retire?
Yeah, and even I mean, honestly, like right now, we're generating three to four different types of passive income right now that I would have never even thought of. And it wasn't until we had this collaboration that we had these opportunities come up and doors were opening everywhere. And it's amazing how, when everything is aligned together, how everything just comes together, and Rebecca said it best, man. We most importantly, when you think about it, is the legacy that we're going to leave, not only to our children but to our agents. And a lot of times we tend to really understand our purpose in life, man. And our purpose is to leave a legacy. That people are not going to remember you for your money. They're going to remember what you gave back to your community, what you gave back to your real estate, you gave your agents, what you implement in your children. That's what people are going to remember, Dan. Nobody's going to remember how much money you have. Yeah, you're doing great. That's great. What else? You can't take that with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that about you guys. I know you're super involved in the company. You're involved in the different diversity groups that we have, and you guys are mentors, right? Are you your mentors? Yeah. That's a lot of work, but I love that, pouring into new agents. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're mentors. We're part of EXP Latino.
Right.
Part of another organization called NARA. Man, the list goes on and on.
Thank you guys for all that you do. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
My pleasure.
What's next for you guys? What's the next big thing on the list?
So for me, I think I really enjoy working with those agents. I enjoy helping others to grow. I'm going to continue doing more of that. And expanding as far and as wide as I can.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's quite a bit the same, just helping our agents continue growing, because when I see them, really prosper and grow within this industry, man, it just brings me joy. It's not about the money for me sometimes. It's just about seeing how passionate and how much they're loving what they're doing, man. That just brings me joy. I'll be honest with you. I think that building other leaders, opening other countries. I mean, Rebecca been fully committed to like our partners, man, and we both have. And to me, it's important that we're still growing this, but at the same time, we have to pay attention from number 1 up to number 252. You understand? We have to make sure that they're all feeling the same excitement, the same needs, and they're fulfilling what they're looking for. That's what I want to remember by.
I love that. I'm so glad you guys shared that. I think that's I love the same thing. I love seeing new agents and seasoned agents open their eyes open and really blossom, and you get to help them. And this model allows us all to win as we're enjoying helping all these people. So I love that. Yeah. So you guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for taking your time out of your busy schedules. And where can everyone find you, and where can we get your book?
Well, the book can be purchased marriedinrealestate.com, and for a short time, it is offered for free, just cover the cost of shipping and handling. And you can follow me on Instagram. I am Rebecca Soto _legacy.
And I am _Josue Soto _legacy on IG. Follow us on Facebook and at Married in Real Estate too on IG.
All right. Thanks, you guys. If you guys, everybody go out there and grab that book. I know I'm going to enjoy reading it. And thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take care.
Bye.